Hey Danny, how you doing, man?
Let the spice flow.
The spice must flow, Dan. That's what's important to remember.
It must flow. Yeah.
It must flow. Also, Timothée Chalamet is in it. There's something about him. I don't know what it is. Whenever I look at Timothée Chalamet, my eyes sort of drift off him and then back onto him. He's sort of a strangely captivating presence in a way that's impossible to define.
Yeah.
So that's a good intro to... Can you guess what film we're doing? Timothée Chalamet and Spice.
Yeah, we're doing Dune or Dune or June, depending on...
I say Dune.
Your dialect. I say Dune.
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 Google it. The Frank Herbert novel.
If I cough during this, it's because I have the coronavirus, which is not good. I wouldn't recommend it. And it sort of makes you very ill. So, try and avoid that. Try and give that a dodge.
I was trying very hard not to smile during when you were saying that, but yeah, coronavirus makes you very ill.
Yeah, Lewis.
That's not a hot take. That's not a brand new scientific fact. Yes, it does.
Well, to some people it might be. Lewis has wished for this for a very long time. That's why he's smiling. He's like, yes,
I have. I've had pentagrams and pictures of Danny that I've printed out and I've written in goat's blood and all sorts.
All those pathogens that he's been pumping into my room for years now has finally paid off.
I have an elaborate system by which there's a switch under my desk, Mr. Burns' Release the Hounds switch. But I flick the switch and it sets up this elaborate air duct from this office to Danny's house. And it just blows pathogens through. It's a really long tunnel. It's an engineering marvel, but I can't tell anybody because then the government would shut it down and use it to, I don't know, pipe oat cakes to Scotland or something.
God, that is more complex than this fucking film.
I don't think it is. I don't think anything is.
Mate, I'm trying to type in the Discord to warn Dougie not to come in with his mic on, and I'm not...
Mic off!
We're recording, so just mic off.
Well, with that important message relayed, let's quickly address... Danny has said I can't type. Accurate.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Yes, let's quickly address what might be an elephant in the room if you like Doctor Who. If you don't like Doctor Who, it's not an elephant in the room, but we're still going to address it. Danny, are you aware there's a series of Doctor Who airing right now on the BBC?
I am aware that it's editing right now, and it's called Doctor Who Flux.
Oh, Flux off!
Oh, that's...
I like that one. It's good. But anyway, yeah. We're not going to break it down. We're not going to do episode by episode by episode. We're going to wait till the end of the series, and then we're going to do all the episodes at once, and we're going to talk at great length. We're going to do a big old episode. We talk about Doctor Who and go, well, yeah, see that Sontaran? He was riding a horse. Isn't that mental?
That was...
all that stuff.
Wow. I mean, substituting Russians for Sontarans. Don't know how I feel about that, but I'm sure we'll end up talking about it.
It's here's a quick 5-second snippet of my opinion is that it's the previous series have been just fucked nonsense.
Time's up.
You've been watching. I don't care. It's different. Time is different in the Staffordshire Moorlands. You should know this. It is that it's just fucked nonsense that you're watching, and you go, oh well, that doesn't make sense. But that doesn't make sense. But this new series so far has been fucked nonsense that you're being shown, and you're going, yeah, all right. I don't mind that. That's all right. Sontaran on a horse. All right. I just think it's nonsense, and you're very aware of the fact that it is.
Yeah.
I sort of don't mind, which is quite nice in a funny way.
Yeah. Why do they need horses?
To ride around quickly, the same reason humans need horses, I suppose.
Yeah, I know, but they're like an advanced alien race that are bred for war. Have they not got?
That's a good point. If they haven't got cars, they should at least be quick runners, surely.
Yeah. Because alien horses
cost too much money for film.
True.
What do you reckon is the cheapest way to make a horse look alien? If you got the job, Dan, congratulations, Dan, you've got a new job as head props master and animal handler for this season of Doctor Who that's already airing.
Yep.
And they said, so Dan, we need you to make this horse look like some kind of alien horse from Sontar. How would you make that happen? The cheapest way possible.
Cheapest
Dan,
way.
Here's 50 pence.
Okay, I would get those goggle things. You know, the sort of headband thing with the 2-pronged antenna coming off the end of them, and I'd put that in the horse.
Oh, like boppers. Yeah.
Yeah, them. That would do it. So, oh my god,
Like,
what? And then all the audience are like, oh my god, what is he riding? Oh,
That could be anything that he's. I don't know. Like
I don't know what the hell it
Rick and
is!
Morty. They get the head. Oh, that's good. I like that. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably just paint it green or something.
that is a lot of fucking effort.
Not really. If you just get a really big bucket of paint and just upend the bucket on the horse, you have to make sure it's horse-safe paint.
Yeah, that would probably really hurt the poor thing. Like,
It might do actually.
painting its eyes, it's swallowing
Yeah.
paint, it's breathing paint.
That's
it's
true.
like,
Good point. Yeah.
my
let's
God.
maybe not paint a horse.
so you need to leave it
The
for
bantha
hours
in
to
Star
dry.
Wars was an elephant. That might be true, Dougie. In fact, I'm sure it is, but I don't know what a bantha looks like. Bear with me, everybody.
Oh yeah, it's one of those big.
Bantha. No, not Bantham. That's a village in England. Bantha, Star Wars. It's like a cow. It's like a Highland cow,
Yeah.
but the size and shape of an elephant. That's very cool. Did they just chuck a carpet over it? Like, that's brilliant.
Tatooine cow.
I like that very much. I'm sure I liked these when I watched Star Wars, but as we have previously discussed,
Yeah.
it's an insane fever dream that I was subjected to.
Absolutely.
I like that. That's
yeah.
very good.
It's very good. But before we can talk about Dune and all the sort of stuff that surrounds it, we have some bullshit to attend to, Lewis.
We do.
We've been neglecting it for far too long. It's time to get back on the horse. Oh hey! Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. Born ready. Fun fact, listeners, I've got no idea what he's going to come out with, so this could be brilliant.
This is amazing. The weird and racist response to Christmas adverts.
Yes, I've heard about this.
Yeah. By the way,
John Lewis advert.
Yeah, just before we start, this isn't really in the news that much, but I remember like every single year there is always a Christmas advert with like just multiple families sitting down having dinner, right? And one of those families happens to be black, and some people who complain to Ofcom seem to have a problem with that, and it's every fucking year. And it's so strange.
That's what gets me. It's every year. It's like this is a Christmas tradition. It's right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just say, for the sake of argument, that you are a bigot. Not you, Danny. Just a hypothetical person is a massive bigot.
Yeah.
And they say, you know what? I really hate people that are different to me, and I really hate all of that. So that means that if, for example, somebody makes an advert with a black family eating Christmas dinner, I will furiously contact Ofcom post-haste, and I will make my distaste known to the world.
Yeah.
And then that happens, and nothing comes of it, because why would John Lewis stop making an advert just because some random bigot decides that they shouldn't?
Yeah.
And then the next year it happens again, and they're like, oh my God! It's happened again!
No.
What?
I mean,
it's just nonsense to keep... Oh, God.
It's almost as if black people exist and live in this country and in many other countries and just want to sit down and eat Christmas dinner just like everyone else.
Yeah.
It's like there is really no conceivable way that it affects anyone. I mean, genuinely, there is not any measurable way to determine whether it has affected anyone. You know, it is literally the most benign, normal thing. It's literally just a fucking family sitting eating dinner, and these people are like, It's the justifications that people say. It's that, this political correctness, trying to...
Only 15% of Britain is black and all the rest of it.
Yes, so what? I mean...
of that 15%, I presume there will be millions of families.
Yeah.
And I presume they will be eating dinner.
Exactly. A tiny percentage of the population are celebrities, and we need to look at their fucking stupid faces all the time. Do you know what I mean? So let's actually have normal people. Do you know what I mean? That maybe don't make up the exact majority that you wish they did. Like, Jesus Christ.
No, you're completely right. One of the best responses to this I've seen was somebody tweeted just something like, I'm going to be paraphrasing a bit, so bear with me, but it was something like 15% of Britain's population is black. Can we have proportional representation in our media, in our adverts, the rest of it? And somebody replied to them and said, okay, if that's the case, why are you fixating on race?
Yeah.
Let's say there's something like 40% of Britain probably wears glasses. So why do we not have exactly 40% of the people in the adverts wearing glasses?
Yeah.
If there's 60% of people in Britain have some kind of disability, perhaps.
Yeah.
Why do we not have that represented? Why is race important unless you're a racist?
Yes.
It's the only explanation, and that's perhaps one of the best interpretations of it I've seen, is that it's not important unless you think it's important. If you're a racist.
Yeah.
It's just nonsense.
Why? It's a difficult issue with no easy answer. Not really. I mean, it's a pretty easy answer. Why is it that women make up the majority and yet there are far more men in media and politics?
Yep,
It's
exactly.
Like, can we not get some proportional representation on that? Like, the majority of people in television shows are men. Like, just skewed across the board. So the idea that you're only concerned with, it doesn't represent Britain. It's like, well,
yeah.
You can argue about that, but like, media in general doesn't represent Britain because not everyone is white and not everyone is male and not everyone is straight. I mean, it's like it's really really stupid. It's just I wish people would just be honest about it and just say, you don't like black people for whatever reason. Just admit it. Don't try and disguise it with a million sort of, well, it's not, it's PC gone mad and all that. It's not. It's just there are different people in society, and it's okay to show them on a Christmas advert or any advert. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, Christ. The thing that really does annoy me about it is that for all this sort of faux fury and hatred towards John Lewis, the company, for this particular advert, it's all benefiting John Lewis, really.
Yeah.
Because if it's there's a video by
H-Bomber
Guy.
Yeah.
We go on about all the fucking time, called Woke Brands, I think it is.
Yeah.
And he makes the point of brands that have no such thing as bad publicity. Dougie makes an excellent point.
True.
Said, I think it was a Gillette advert a couple of years ago that said men, boys, treat other people with respect, become a better person through doing better actions, and this caused uproar at the time. Like, no, men should be men and boys should be boys. They shouldn't cry and they should hit people and all the rest of it. And then people were sort of flushing their Gillette razor down the loo and all the rest of it. And then, almost immediately, the chances are people went out and bought another Gillette razor. Because the reason they bought the Gillette razor wasn't that Gillette, the brand, hated women or something. It was because, it's just a razor and I need a razor. So having a razor brand, or John Lewis, a shopping brand, be socially aware and make social or political points, even in a very, very vague way in an advert, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're actually going to stop shopping from there, because that isn't why you started shopping there.
Yeah.
So all John Lewis have done is just make an advert and get their name in the news.
Exactly.
That's all that's happened, really, and it's frustrating that we live in a situation where just getting your name in the news is the goal of an advertising campaign, rather than saying, no, at John Lewis we genuinely have really good, I don't know what John Lewis sell actually, really good turkey that you can buy for your Christmas dinner. I don't know.
Clothes, I think.
Oh, we have really good Christmas jumpers.
Yeah. Google what Saatchi did in the 90s. I will in a minute, but I'm gonna make this point. There's a delightful human being by the name of Candace Owens, who sort of led the charge with the whole Nike thing. And there was another thing where Harry Styles was wearing a dress, and she went into this Twitter tirade about, you need to bring back manly men, and men have become too feminine in society, right? And it only takes one or two scrolls down her Instagram feed to see her wearing a suit. And if you look at that post, it's literally bombarded with bring back feminine women, like just people absolutely trolling the shit out of her. It's just like what people are angry about aren't actually what they're angry about. It's always like this, it's the decline of Western civilization. Men aren't manly anymore. It's like the idea that men were really ever manly. Like makeup was invented for like men, and like, men wore heels and stuff, and like
high heels were invented by butchers.
Yeah,
so they wouldn't have to stand in blood all day.
Exactly. Western civilization was invented by bisexual Greeks. I mean, that's kind of true. Yeah. I mean, it's it's this obsession with tradition that isn't actually very traditional.
The thing is, at the end of the day, stuff is just stuff. Who gives a shit? Christ. Put on a dress if you want. Put on some trousers if you want. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Just Christ. There are more important things to be worrying about with your life than that.
Yeah. If all you
Stuff
can
is just
worry
stuff.
about, if all you can worry about is men wearing dresses and black people in Christmas adverts, then you've either got it good, incredibly good, or you're so delusional that you have no idea what's actually going on in real life.
Precisely. Yeah. It's I think the thing that really infuriates me about sort of the hypocrisy of this Candace Owens and that thing about the dress and the suit and all the rest of it is that the facts only suit her. She only makes the point when the facts suit her.
Yeah.
It's when it's easy for her to say, men should be masculine and shouldn't be wearing dresses. But then it's also convenient for her to wear a suit sometimes. So it's not actually a point she believes in.
No.
If it were a point she believed in and could honestly say, no, I believe in this entirely, then at the very least I would go, okay, well, that's you're wrong, but it's your opinion and you're entitled to it. But it's not her opinion. It's a convenient set of buzzwords that she can throw around, which really offends me. Really, really offends me.
Yeah.
It's one of the things, I say we don't talk about politics. Obviously we talk about politics all the fucking time, but
we do.
It's one of the things I really despise about Boris Johnson is that he really doesn't seem to give a shit. Is that Theresa May, for all of her flaws, seemed to actually think she was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And while I disagree that she thought she was, and that deserves at least a little bit of going, oh, well, you had a go at least.
Yeah.
Boris Johnson seems to not care, and he's actively just lining his own pockets and the pockets of his mates. It's not... It's not a genuine attempt at governance. It's just shit.
Well, Lewis, it is really interesting that you said that, because that brings us to incredibly... So you couldn't have done it better yourself.
Oh.
We're into the next bit of bullshit now. Are you ready?
Well, hey, I'm ready. Throw it at me. I always forget about the...
Abolish the House of Lords. Thank you. I don't know if you've seen this in the news, but a big...
Yes, I saw a graph, and that means I have an entitled and informed opinion.
Yeah, so apparently, if you pay the Tory party £3 million, you could find yourself a place on the House of Lords. Isn't that spectacular, Lewis?
You can buy your way into a democracy. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
What a beautiful piece of democracy that is.
You can just pay enough money, and then you can review the laws that govern us
forever,
and
you
potentially make changes on them.
And then your children, and then their children,
Yeah.
and then their and so forever. Is there a way to be kicked out of being a peer? Who knows?
No, I mean,
Jesus.
you get to reinforce the system of hereditary power in this country. Isn't that amazing? Don't you
think
want...
you should be taxed less? Get in the House of Lords, write a bill!
Yeah, all you have to do is give the Tory party £3 million this week, and you'll be maybe allowed in there. I mean, there's like 800 House of Lords members? Or something like that?
Fuck knows.
I think there's 900, I think.
Christ.
I thought there was...
I'm presuming it's about the same size as the House of Commons.
Yeah.
It's not that big, is it? You can't fit 900 people in there at any one time.
Oh my god. Well, I just want to talk a little bit about the whole of Ireland is still represented in it.
That's odd.
Oh. Plus overseas territories.
God.
Well, there
Bloody
you
hell.
go.
Yeah, let's abolish the House of Lords. Let's bin it off. Christ.
Yeah, I just want to talk a bit about the sort of arguments that are thrown when it comes to like keeping the House of Lords and keeping like the monarchy and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a really good video recently by a guy called Sean.
With his wonderful accent, yes.
Yeah, and he.
Let's have a think about the House of Lords. He's brilliant. I love him.
Hello, everyone, and today we're going to be. I can't really do it. But
it's important to note here that what Stefan's talking about is a process of about 500 years.
Okay,
I just
okay, Mrs. Tweedy, like G.
It's important to notice that what.
Mr. Tweedy, why are those chickens?
I will roast you and have you for dinner.
You are going to be a pie. 784. Oh, well, I was close. I was 20 off. 16 off.
Bloody hell, Dan. You've got one fucking job.
I know. But for all the sort of, arguments that are made to keep the House of Lords, like, oh, well, they're full of people who are like experts and things. It doesn't fucking matter.
Really?
Like, even if that was true, even if every single one was like an expert, we don't live in some Plato Greek fucking democracies for weaklings, okay? I don't want to be governed by people who I didn't fucking vote for. That is just like it's as simple as it is. Like, when people talk about the monarchy, oh, the royals bring in more money than they cost, which isn't actually true. Because it costs like 393 million to renovate Buckingham Palace. Do you know what I mean? And people just say, well, they only get paid 40 million. They don't. They get paid 80 million. But like, there's so many like caveats that come like after that. But even if all of that was true, even if they bring in so much more fucking money, the idea that you can just accidentally be born into a position of power is. It belongs in the fucking Middle Ages, okay? It does. It is not how a society should be ran, because it's not representative. It's incredibly hierarchical, and it just says, fuck you, democracy. These people who, by the accident of birth, get to tell you and I what to do, so it's absolute nonsense.
It really is nonsense. It's, yeah, it's utter bollocks. And the fact that I think in the past, since 2010, the Tories have put 33 new lords into the House of Lords.
Yeah.
And other parties have done a combined total of 6, I think, or something ridiculous. It's really, really disgusting to me, the fact that you can just say, okay, well, I'm in power now, so I think we should just have these people should just be in power in the country forever.
Yeah.
I believe Blair created the most lords ever. He might have done. He
Maybe
wasn't
done.
he wasn't in my good books, and now he's even less so.
Yeah.
I just really loathe the idea that we can have this idea of, oh no, these people are inherently better, so they should just have access to the ruling elite of the country forever. Because the implication is, oh well, their children, by virtue of being children of these people, will just be intelligent. They will just be better. Which is, can't you see how that's inherently flawed?
Absolutely.
Can't you see how that's fucked? Really? Because that's essentially what you're saying with the royal family and all the rest of it, is saying, well, because Queen Elizabeth is distantly related to Queen Victoria, and she's related to such and such, and it goes back and back and back.
Yeah.
Because of that ancient bloodline, they are just better. They are just inherently really good.
Yeah.
And that's fucked.
Well,
to think, no, these people are just inherently better than everyone else in the country. They were chosen by God to rule over us because they are inherently superior. Is that not disgusting?
I mean, the whole way that you form a monarchy is not by, Yahweh descending from the clouds and putting a crown on your head. It's by killing all opposition and then creating a bunch of rules that make you in charge. There's not some divine mystery. It's just, we were the significant power base at the time, and we've just managed to stay in that power base for hundreds and hundreds of years. But I want to read out a wee tweet by a guy called David Schneider, who says, "Vote Leave in 2016. The EU is corrupt and stuffed full of unelected politicians. Vote Leave government 2021. For just £3 million, you can become an unelected politician." So, I mean, if that doesn't, I think that sums it up pretty nicely. And I want to talk about, just to branch off, and it's made me think a lot about a show that I've finished recently. Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey?
Yes! Yeah!
Well, we also finished Downton Abbey, and we watched the movie too. Have you watched the movie?
I watched the movie. It was shit.
Yep.
I really didn't like the movie. I thought it was it tried to keep to the formula with changing it significantly. It's it's done in a way that works because there's a lot of close-ups in Downton Abbey, but it was an off-brand upstairs downstairs. I never seen upstairs downstairs. But yeah, Downton Abbey. It's hard to think this way when you're watching it, right? Because the interpersonal drama, you like the characters, some of the characters, you like how down to earth some of them are, right? But essentially, written by Lord Julian Fellowes, by the way, it essentially says that we need the aristocracy in a changing world, and all the servants that work for these lords and ladies are not only grateful to be working there, it's like they create this false historical narrative that they would have just been friendly with the servants, and there wouldn't be any sort of shut your mouth peasant,
Don't
that's
talk in my presence. Yeah.
And
like in the movie, Molesley cocks it up and talks in front of the king and queen. I mean, well, would he not have been fired?
Yeah, he would have been
he
sacked.
wasn't working there, but do you see what I mean? It's the kind of grounds for immediate dismissal without any kind of trial or horrendous.
Like maybe today you would get away with that, like if you were a paid servant, right? And it would have went in TikTok or something, and people would have been like, "Oh my god, he's so kooky." But the idea that in the early 20th century you spoke to the king and queen like that and embarrassed them, you would have been sacked immediately. You would have been bumbled out by Carson. It was like, "Come here, you rascal," or disappeared. Maybe.
Would have been disappeared.
Maybe. Who knows?
Carson comes into your bunk in the night with a cloth sack and chucks it over your head. Come on now.
I've got to say, right, a lot of people really like Carson. I think he's a fucking dick, right?
He's a dick, yeah.
See, throughout the show, he hates progress. He hates...
He's massively homophobic.
Yeah, massively homophobic. Hates the fact that women are getting rights. And then when he marries Mrs. Hughes, who's probably one of my favourite characters, he becomes this ultimate critique of everything that she does. And it takes, her to say, "Mr. Carson, you're going to have to cook for me tonight," and that he's swept off his feet by one meal. He's just he's incredibly. I really don't like him.
He's not very good with her pansy pans. Can you help her have another look at it?
Well, maybe you could speak to Mrs. Patmore, and you would have a better idea of how to make a meal. So fuck off, you prick. But,
feed your fucking self, Carson. Dougie just said something which I just want to briefly mention. He was probably born in about the 1860s, so it's a pretty normal school of thought. Just because it's normal for the time doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah.
If it was normal in 1901 to kick a horse to death on a night out, I wouldn't look back through the pages of history and go, "Oh, well, that's all right then. Everybody was doing it. Who cares?" No, that's not right. And it brings me back to one of my favourite tweets of all time. What is this? You can't judge a historical figure by modern moral standards. Yes, I can. I do it all the time.
I mean, that would have been fine, but the problem is that they tried to have their cake and eat it. It's really the only way that you're going to like someone in that day and age is if they have progressive values.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say that, but someone who believes in absolute monarchy and that the peasants should just shut up and do the work and just keep their heads down. I don't care how kooky they are. I don't care how much they sort of act like a father figure to the Lady Mary, who I really disliked in the final seasons.
Yeah, me too.
Just absolutely unrelenting to Edith. Just absolutely fucking...
Because Edith quite clearly got to a point where she was like, oh, this isn't fucking worth it. And Mary was like, it is worth it. Just
yeah.
Like, double down and get the thumb screws out. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, like every time she spoke, Mary would just be like, yeah, and you're a fucking piece of shit. Like, just...
Fuck you, Edith.
But I just want to talk about one last thing, and then we can move on. They ruined my favourite character in the entire show.
In Downton Abbey?
Yeah, guess who it is.
You've told me this and I've forgotten it. Fuck. Who?
Branson. Tom Branson.
Yes, that was a bit weird. It was
who was
yeah,
an avowed communist from the very get-go, and then because the Bolsheviks killed the monarchy, he sort of slowly decided maybe communism isn't for me. It's like, well, only if it's done badly. Like, I mean, it's like, it's like you're allowed to be progressive without wanting to like kill everyone in sight. You know, it's like there's not a direct link to wanting universal healthcare for someone and wanting to kill all opposition and like put them into cars. Bolshevism was extremist communism. I mean, communism is pretty extremist, like, anyway. But yeah, so it goes to America, comes back, it's like, yes, I've changed my views on capitalism. I think it's a...
Well, it was from the West Country.
Sorry, I no longer think the same way I do about capitalism.
That's a bit closer. That's a bit closer. I'll allow you to have that one.
Yeah, there we go. That's exactly how he spoke.
That's exactly it. Yes.
Yeah, and it's like they treat it as if it's like, you know, that's where everyone ends up. Really, that's where everyone's.
That's the right belief.
You flirt about with fucking, you know, doing away with social hierarchy
and all the stuff,
and you know, making the world a better place and fairer and all that. But when you go to America and your wife dies, you finally, you know, get yourself sorted out and realise that capitalism is exactly what we need. But
yeah, it did also annoy me that his character development, as it were, sort of took place off screen.
Yeah.
He was sort of like, he was this avowed sort of socialist, and then he went to America, came back, and he was like, well, maybe the monarchy's a good idea. You know, maybe I'm all for it.
Yeah.
What? Sorry, Branson, you've been gone for a week and a half. It's not. You don't have that much of a 180-degree turn in 20 minutes.
I mean, a significant plot of the film was him stopping an assassination attempt of George V, which was I have no idea how I feel about that.
I think it's I sort of understand it, because I think it's perfectly understandable that Branson, who by all accounts is sort of this he does massively disagree with the monarchy and all the rest of it, but he's a very kind man and he's a very sort of loving and generous and sweet man. It's very well that he's like, no, I believe that we should abolish the monarchy and everything, but I don't really believe we should go about shooting them if we can avoid it. Yeah. So I can understand it. But yeah, I don't like that they did treat it as, oh no, Branson, don't worry, he's gone back to normal now. He believes in, he's gone beyond socialism. Don't worry, he's back to normal.
Yeah.
I didn't like that at all. That was horrible.
And the guy was legitimately upset about the way that Britain was treating Ireland at the time.
Yeah.
And he's just sort of dismissed as, it's free now. And it's like, well, no, it's not. You know, it's like, come on. Like, it's really not as simple as, oh, it was conquered by the British, but now it's completely and utterly free, and nothing bad will ever happen again. Now let's have a big procession of British songs and Britannia and all that, and everything's fine. It's like, it's just, it's so unnuanced, you know. And like after the assassination, we're back to talking about, you know, where the king will be seated at the dinner and all that. It's just like, it feels a bit boorish and snobbish, you know.
The only one I do have a bit of a soft spot for is Mrs. Patmore.
Yeah!
She's just like, look, I'm going to make a fucking souffle and I don't care who eats it. And she's just sort of furious, and a furious cook throughout the entire tenure of the show. It's wonderful.
Exactly.
I'd really love her. She's great.
Yeah, and is completely like okay with Thomas's sexual lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? Like she
Yeah,
she just gets it, and it's just like, oh, you're barking up the wrong tree there. He doesn't like you. Like, just completely fine with it.
You
Do you know
might
what I mean?
not be the girl for him, and all this, and it's just like, why not? I think I'd be a perfect girl for him. She's like, oh, forget it,
for
Daisy.
God's sake. Yeah, definitely.
No, I like her. She's good.
No, I do. But anyway.
Plus, right, here we go. The final note on Downton
Oh!
Abbey while we're here.
Oh!
Me and Miss Scrunchy that I've got in. We're going to make a final note on Downton Abbey. I didn't like when Mrs. Patmore had, was it a B&B or a tea room or whatever she had, and it became a house of ill repute in the press because somebody went there to have an affair, and then don't worry, Mrs. Patmore, the lord and lady will descend from on high to grace you with their presence in your business, and all will be well just due to their magical presence.
Yeah, and even though it was them like doing a nice thing, even Carson was just like, I don't want the family, lowering themselves to this standard and all that. It's like, oh my God, they're trying to do her a favour. Like, as horrible as it is, it's like,
Carson,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and it was also a bit fucked that the only gay character in the show was also like a really horrible, twisted person. That was a strange thing, which I didn't quite
the only
understand.
gay character was a scheming, narcissistic, kind of rude arsehole, really, you know. I mean, I have a sort of soft spot for him. He grew on me a little bit, but like he was a panto villain. That's exactly what he was, because whenever we needed conflict,
was seconds away from going seconds away from that at any moment.
His only friend was Mrs. O'Brien, who was like even like just so much worse. And
with the soap and
the soap.
Yeah.
But there you go. That's Downton Abbey. It wasn't.
That is Downton Abbey. We've summarised it in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
That's 3 pieces of bullshit I'm counting.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I count 3 too.
Yeah. Shall we talk about Dune?
Let's talk about Dune.
Yes. Okay. So, Dune 2021 was written by Denis Villeneuve, if that's how you pronounce his name.
Denis Villeneuve is what I've always heard, but
Denis Villeneuve.
I'm not going to pretend I speak French.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And was also directed by Denis Villeneuve, and is starring Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Oscar Isaac, Rebecca Ferguson, Stellan Skarsgård, and Javier Bardem. And there are other people like Josh Brolin and stuff like that, but I didn't write them down. So yeah, do you have an opening statement?
I do. Fucking hell, there's a lot going on in this. I don't know if you know this, everybody, listeners, Danny, but my day job is as a writer, and at the moment I'm ghostwriting, and I've signed an NDA, so I can't go into too much detail, but I was given a great big briefing document for this next book I'm going to write, and, great, and I read through all of that, and then I watched all of Dune, and now they're both muddled up in my head in some kind of terrifying, bizarre mixture. Just before we started recording, Danny said, "Who are the Bene Gesserit again?" And I went, "Oh, Jesus Christ, there's some women that can tell the future or something," and I just couldn't quite get it straight in my head. So I might get some names wrong, but please bear with me, and I'm sure we'll get through it together.
The Bene Gesserit, or as I like to call them, the Catholic Church of Space, are a religious group, kind of like the Jedi in Star Wars, except are entirely women and are much more interesting.
Dougie says they are bald.
They are bald.
Wasn't Paul's mum a Bene Gesserit? And she had hair?
she wasn't bald. So I don't know.
Yeah, so come on, Dougie.
The nuns do. They shave deer.
I presume they do, yeah.
Oh, you're actually just saying they shave deer rather than they shave deer. They find deer and shave them.
Yeah, they go out into Arrakis and find the closest thing to a deer they can find and shave them.
Yes. Opening statements.
Yeah, that was mine. What's yours?
Oh, is that it? Okay. One of the best films for the sci-fi genre in a long while. Looks fantastic, solid acting all around, an incredible story that is so grand and frightening, with more to come.
Yeah, that's one of the things I do love about Dune, both the book and this and all the rest of it, is that it is such a grand story. It's told on such an enormous scale that you can sort of barely comprehend it. It's like you're an ant looking up at an enormous sculpture and you're like, what the fuck is going on? You're told about this enormous sort of political structure and all this, the spice must flow and all these people, and it's just... And you get introduced to people with fantastic names, and then there's Paul. Paul, or
Baron Harkonnen.
Dylan Idaho, very good point.
Yeah.
Doesn't love a bit of Jason Momoa. He goes for it, doesn't he? He really puts a lot of effort into what he does.
Gives it a good blast.
It is very. I've got to say, it's always very enjoyable watching Jason Momoa do stuff. He's just there running around, just doing stuff. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It was good in Stargate.
I never saw him in
The Stargate movie, was he in that?
Atlantis.
Oh, Stargate Atlantis. I'm dead. Didn't see that.
The TV show. No, I never saw that either.
So fuck off, Dougie, because we never saw it.
You put
Dougie,
3
you put an
dots.
ellipsis in the chat.
Yeah. It is so clear that Star Wars borrowed heavily from Frank Herbert's
Certainly.
universe.
Yeah. Dune is such a sort of a seminal sort of sci-fi masterpiece.
Yeah, it's more... Star Wars is... I feel like a blasphemer for saying this, but Star Wars is like a dumbed down version of this. It's a hero's journey about a chosen one kind of person who has to essentially topple an empire with, which runs on feudalism, and there's an emperor that you don't see in the first film, and he is introduced into this religious cult and fights with a very small band of freedom fighters to try and overthrow it. But the difference between Star Wars and Dune is that Dune recognizes that what Paul is sort of going through is not entirely a good thing. Because he has his son is even worse. Oh well, that's spoilers. Well, I suppose we can talk about spoilers. His son becomes a
worm god.
Oh yeah,
I have found my dream job. Worm god. That sounds brilliant.
That's in a God Emperor of Dune, isn't it?
I couldn't fucking tell you. I bought a copy of Dune, and it was such a fucking hassle getting that, because there are so many books in the series that if you just look for a copy of Dune, nowhere seems to sell it.
Yeah.
I was just like, sorry, so there's all these different editions and copies, and can I just have the first one, please?
Yeah, but so Paul is like in the book, and I think we'll get this in the film. Paul essentially becomes a messiah figure to the Fremen, who are the natives of Arrakis, and basically gets them to fight with him and reclaim the planet, and he eventually just rises to the top of the galaxy. So it's not as if he's overthrowing an unequal social system. He's just sort of getting rid of the ones who are there and then replacing himself with them. He becomes emperor and is worse than the last. Yeah, he becomes uncaring and calculating, and it's that's a real twist on the hero's journey. It's
it's kind of not a hero's journey at that point. It's bloke's journey. Through the sheer sort of pressure and horrors that he's gone through and all the rest of it, and then eventually you end up at this point where it's, oh no, he's a cunt now.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
King Arthur
in his 60s with a beer belly and a bad attitude.
True.
There's something I do quite like about Dune. This film in particular really sort of hammered it home for me in a funny way. It's space, but it's also not space.
Yes.
Let me elaborate. It is space in the sense of there are spaceships flying about, and you look up at the sky and it's spaceships and all the rest of it. But also, you're very aware of the sort of boots on the ground, Paul's running around and stabbing people. You're very aware of that part of the experience, which is something that I think a hell of a lot of sci-fi really struggles to pull off.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're up flying about in space, it becomes the stakes of on the ground type stuff become very meaningless. That's one of the reasons that Star Trek I think is so episodic, is because when you are flying around on the Enterprise and then you fall down to Earth or whatever, and they say, "Oh no, we're having some trouble with our recycling units," and Picard might as well just go, "I don't fucking care. This morning I saw a supernova before I had breakfast. This means nothing to me."
Yeah.
But Dune really does a good job of encapsulating the sort of the political system and the planets and the space and the everything, and it's all together. It's all in one. You sort of feel a combination of the boots on the ground experience as well as the sort of, we're flying about and doing space, which I really like. And I think it's because it's all tied together with spice, and it's all tied together with the power struggles and the sort of what's the word I'm looking for? The economy, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's all tied together, and you can see that everything has a hand in each other's pockets, and I don't know, I like it. It's all tied together beautifully.
I mean, to expand on your point about it all sort of being boots on the ground, and while it's still sci-fi, it doesn't stray too far. There are no robots in Dune.
Yes.
And that's an actual lore thing. Banned, exactly, yep.
Yes, this is one of the early things they go over in the book. I'm not entirely sure if they went over it in the film, but it was just like a backstory thing of, human computers are called mentats. David Dastalmachan is one of them.
Yep.
And I can't remember the actor that did the other one. But there's sort of there was like a computers took over, and then humanity won the war against computers, and then said, all right, that's enough of that then. Let's swear off computers for the rest of time.
Yeah, exactly.
And instead just have some really clever blokes. Let's see if we can do that.
Yeah, and some magic. They use spice.
They use spice to expand minds.
Yes. I mean, it's with how much technological progress that the galaxy has made in this timeline, and yet they're all just the exact same as us, just competing over power and wealth. And it's really that's what makes it so human, because it's just the same primitive stuff that we fight over in our world, and we, no matter how enlightened we are, unless we recognize that these systems do just perpetuate conflict and greed and power. It's that we're just going to keep doing it regardless of whether we're in space or in our own country.
Just quickly, I wanted to mention something I found online, which is that apparently Stellan Skarsgård thought that... Oh, Christ, my camera's gone really weird. There we go, you can see me again. Stellan Skarsgård made the point, quite repeatedly, apparently, and at great length, that Duke Harkonnen is scariest when he's naked. He's just this big, slimy weirdo that's just sort of floating around and stuff.
Wow.
And so he was saying, can I just do more of my scenes nude? If Duke Harkonnen is just this sort of floating naked weirdo, that makes him even more alien and even more creepy and horrible. So can I just do all of my scenes naked, please?
Oh my god.
And I had to say to him, no, Mr. Skarsgård.
No,
you've got to have some clothes on occasionally, please.
Yeah, you've got to do that. The fans, if there are any watching of the book, might kill you, Lewis. It's Baron Harkonnen.
Bloody hell, what did I say?
You said Duke.
Oh,
for
sorry.
Fuck's sake.
In my humble defence, Baron and Duke, they feel very similar. 3 ranks below, Jesus.
Oh God!
Dougie is furious.
Dougie is like...
Dougie is coming for me now.
Yeah, Dougie's got a peerage in the House of Lords. Like he's that up to date with it. Baron
Viscount Earl Duke. Oh Jesus Christ!
Oh my
God. Well, so he's Baron Harkonnen. Okay.
So after Baron,
I can only apologise. Mistake.
Is it like Prince and then King or Queen?
I guess it must be.
Is that what comes next, Dougie?
Prince is above Duke.
Wait, what?
What?
Oh, I see. So Baron is the... Okay. Oh, God. God. Jesus. Is Jesus below God? So, King...
Where's Jesus in the hierarchy? Where can we put him?
Knight is the lowest. Do you know...
Dougie doesn't know where Jesus goes.
Do you know
Was Jesus a knight? He was a shepherd, wasn't he? So, I guess technically he'd be below a knight, which I suppose is very Jesus-y. To be sort of... he was a carpenter.
Yeah. He was.
Oh yeah, because it's like a metaphorical shepherd.
Yeah.
So I guess a carpenter, a skilled labourer,
Well,
would probably be just below a knight.
Lewis, do you know what sort of title that I respect above all others?
What's that?
The proletariat. No. Jesus Christ. Or no, I suppose it would be peasantry, wouldn't it? That would be the.
I suppose so.
In
Yeah,
a
in an
medieval-
old school feudal system.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really care what rank you are. I'm just going to call you mate.
Mate.
That's about as much as you're going to get.
Yep.
Because not only do I actively disagree with titles, I will forget it almost immediately.
Yeah.
After watching 7 or 8 series of Downton Abbey, or however many there are, I was still referring to the daughters as the older one and the middle one. And so I'm just terrible with that. So I will forget, and also I disagree.
Yeah. I would just refer to them as the arse and the drip. Like just Mary is the arse and Edith, God bless her, is the drip.
So what was Sybil?
The nice one.
Yes, the nice one.
She was just the nice one, and obviously in a incredibly hierarchical, faux neo-feudal system, the nice one gets killed, doesn't she? Of course. Only for her husband to abandon his incredibly noble ideals after going to fucking America and sitting in a Denny's breakfast bar and come back and say capitalism's really good. Yeah, you should give it a try. Jesus.
Yes, I see no flaws with that. So, Danny, what do you think is going to happen during the war with computers that we will inevitably have in real life?
Well, I don't know, but I have a feeling that someone's going to get sent back in time to kill the...
Do you?
Yeah, because it always goes back to fucking Terminator, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Yeah, you're right. I do think I will take a lot of great pleasure out of just stabbing our Google Homes.
Yeah.
They are crap and really annoying. Looked after your Nintendo 64 and it'll look after you.
True.
Yeah, it'll start walking around on its controllers and shooting robots that come for me. Very real possibility.
Or it could, have you ever played Mario 64?
I've not played Mario 64, no.
Well, every time Mario grabs Bowser's tail and swings him around, for some reason, the way he says, "So long, gay Bowser." And
right.
I think that's just an amazing piece of historical knowledge. Does he? Yes, I swear I am not making this up.
He actually says gay Bowser.
He's like, so long, gay Bowser, like that, and swings him around, and it's amazing.
Are you sure this isn't just a sort of a quirk of the way the actor pronounced it?
Oh, here we go.
Genuine question. So long, Bowser. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Says,
so long, Bowser.
He says gay Bowser, okay?
Right.
So long, gay Bowser. Real line. So long, gay Bowser.
Gay Bowser.
Look, there's 633,000 results.
Actually, yeah, no, I've just watched this video. It's got 4 million views on YouTube. So long, gay Bowser. It does appear to be saying so long, gay Bowser. That's bizarre.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Fucking hell.
Maybe that means happy
okay.
Bowser.
Maybe.
Voice of Mario finally clarifies 23-year-old secret. Wait, yeah, fine.
Are you going down a YouTube rabbit hole of Mario 64?
It's not YouTube. It's actually the voice of Mario has finally clarified a burning question. So what does Mario actually say? Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario, also voice. Yeah, I know this. Important question. Does Mario say so long, Bowser? Oh, Martinet simply responded, so long, King of Bowser.
King of Bowser. Right.
But it really doesn't sound like King of Bowser. It just sounds like gay Bowser. Which, is...
Yeah, because you can't hear the g or the k. Yeah, that's very strange.
Yeah.
You might have messed that one up, Charles Martinet. I mean, I'm not. You've been...
Yeah, he literally recorded it. And Lewis is like, no, come on. Don't be fucking stupid. But yeah, so there you go. Bit of N64 trivia for you.
Yes. Right, we've got some final points on Dune, and then we can wrap up.
Yeah, the final big point is that this story is ultimately about colonization.
Yes.
Because Paul inserts himself with the Fremen and does what a lot of European religious powers did when they colonized and invaded Africa. They introduced mythic sort of religious ideas about Jesus and stuff like that. And, Paul essentially tricks the Fremen into, worshipping him as some sort of messiah figure. So it's, unlike Game of Thrones, where
horrible,
where Emilia Clarke basically does nothing and frees slaves apparently, and they hoist her up as this white savior. Dune actually thinks maybe that's probably not a good thing, and we should probably criticize people that do shit like that. So that's
I do like the fact that Paul is criticized throughout the process of the story.
Yeah.
He's not sort of a favourable character, especially not by the end. He's sort of
no,
maybe we should be nice to people. Maybe we shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
I quite like that. It's good. I don't know how many of these films they're going to make and how many more they're going to get through the sort of through the books and through the rest of it. We'll get dark Timothy Chalamet one day, just really furious, angry Timothy Chalamet. I don't know.
This is when he was all bright and sunshine. This film. Wow, Jesus. I wonder how dark you can get. I mean, oh my God. 15 in the books.
He's 15 in the books. Ooh. Is he? I don't know. It's been a long time since I've read it.
Yeah.
The book is impenetrable. The actual collected edition, the one I've got, I think, is about 600-700 pages. There are editions out there that are like 900 pages. It's absurd.
Oh my God.
It's almost impenetrable to actually get your way through it. It's like...
Yeah.
It's just some terrifying... It's like you're going on a roller coaster and someone's also telling you to memorize something. It's just insane.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think I might be out of notes, bud.
I think I might also be out of notes. The only other thing is that it's gorgeous. The film is gorgeous.
It's absolutely amazing.
Denis Villeneuve always does these really gorgeous, mysterious films, and he's nailed it again this time. It's not really even something that needs to be said.
No.
Because it's just true. It's this, Arrival, all the alien stuff, it's all just gorgeous.
Yeah. Blade Runner
24. I never saw that.
I haven't seen it, but I know that it looks good because Denis directed it, so... There you go.
So there we go. Have you got a closing statement then, Chuck?
I do. Star Wars ain't got shit on this shit, boy. So there you go.
Star Wars ain't got shit. You're right.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this movie. It was beautiful. It was complicated. I'm going to have to watch it a few more times before I can actually remember everybody's names.
Yeah.
But importantly, I look forward to seeing... angry and despotic Timothy Chalamet. That should be good.
That should be fun. Like Joffrey in space.
Joffrey in space, yeah.
Terrifying. Well, that has been Dune or Dune or Dune or June. Favourite month
Dune.
Of the year.
Yeah.
And should we do some horrible capitalist shilling after essentially
a cheeky bit of shilling, yeah.
kicking its balls for an hour?
I can't quite remember if we've discussed what we're going to do next week, so I'm interested. Let's go.
We all have Linktrees, and Lewis's Linktree is linktr.ee/Lewis_Brindley, mine's is /O'Hiram, and the podcast is /Shouting Into the Void. There you will find our socials, our Facebook, our Instagram, our YouTube. Go have a look, go give us a like, go give us a comment, go give us a subscribe, because it gets us up the blessed algorithm of internet.
It does.
Yeah, so...
Yes, the algorithm of internet. That is exactly what it's called.
Yes, so do that. We have a PayPal donate button, so anything you can spare, anything at all would be greatly appreciated. We also have Patreon, and we want to thank our wonderful patrons, as we do every week. And we have Dougie in the chat, sending us comments.
Thank you very much, Dougie. We've been arguing throughout the process of the podcast. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all of our patrons. It really does mean the world that you do support us, and it really does also mean the world that you're here in the community with us. And I think Dougie shared a picture of Patrick Stewart with a pug and a gun. So thank you very much for that picture of Patrick Stewart with a pug and a gun. Thank you for supporting us.
Yes, I shall read out the names individually.
Yeah.
Chloe.
Thank you.
Darius,
Thank you.
Peter,
Thank you.
Aditya,
Thank you.
Natalie,
Thank you.
and of course, Doogie.
Thank you, one and all. You really do make the show possible, and you allow me to see a picture of Patrick Stewart with a dog and a gun. So thank you very much for that.
Lewis really liked that picture.
I did. I saw it, and it was just the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. It was wonderful.
Amazing. We also have merch on Teespring and Redbubble, and we sell tote bags, jumpers, mugs, socks, all sorts of stuff. So get yourself over there. Christmas is actually nearly here. So
It actually is, yeah. Now we
Yeah.
can actually say that with actual seriousness.
exactly. So yeah, have a look, have a buy, and don't die. There you go. Amazing. Woo!
You've nailed that one, Cocker. All right then. Is that the end of the chilling?
No, we have one more thing.
We do have one more thing. Goodness.
Last but not least, we are partnered with an amazing company called Number 12 Crochet Avenue, and Lewis is going to say some wonderful things about them, all of which are true.
Indeed I am. Number 12 Crochet Avenue is a wonderful company run by my wonderful wife in which they crochet and they do all sorts of things in that vein. And if you'd like to keep up to date with all the awesome things that they're doing, you can go to @Number 12 Crochet Avenue on Instagram. You can check it out. Cheeky follow, cheeky like, cheeky all the rest of it. Make sure you're being cheeky and check it all out. Yeah.
Yeah, be very cheeky. Very cheeky.
Mm.
I think that is us now.
I think it is us.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to propose that we do something, Lewis. And I just want to check to make sure that it has been released. Yeah. Just stall until I find out.
Does it begin with an E?
E?
Yes.
No.
Oh, okay.
What were you gonna say, and then I'll say what I was gonna say.
I was going to... Should I say it on this, or do you want to edit it out?
No, just say it. Just say it.
I was going to say Eternals.
Oh, that is a good.
Because that's come out. It's meant to be fucked. It's meant to be... It's big.
That is an interesting one. I was gonna say Last Night in Soho.
Has that come out?
That's come out, yeah.
I feel like I've been waiting a decade for that to come out. Right.
Shall I flip a coin?
Yeah, flip a coin.
Flip a coin. We've never done this before.
We haven't. This is true.
I'm gonna flip my lucky 38 New Vegas coin. So, so it's the lucky 38 side or the 200 side. Which one?
We'll have Eternals 200.
Okay, brilliant. Right, you ready?
Ready.
Oh fuck! It's massive. Right. Are we ready? Right, in real time. It's 200.
So is it Eternals next week?
It's Eternals next week.
Okay, and we're gonna do Last Night in Soho after that.
Yeah, good shout.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good
and
shout.
we can go. Oh bloody hell! What's his name? From The Bodyguard. He shoots lasers out of his eyes. Bloody hell!
Richard,
Isn't that mental?
Richard Madman.
Richard Madman shoots lasers out of his eyes.
Yeah,
Bloody hell!
amazing.
Yeah, I look forward to saying that next week.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think that's us.
I think it is us. All right, thank you very much for watching, or listening, or whatever you're doing with your time.
Eating.
Thank you very much for it. Eating, whatever you're doing. Yes, thank you very much, and good night.
Good night.